Aaron Rodgers could never play in Philadelphia. Not a chance. Some of you might want him. Aaron Rodgers could never play in a city like Philadelphia. Not a chance. There's really only two cities that he could play for. Two places that you could be a bullshit artist. LA and New York. You could be a bullshit artist in New York. Because New Yorkers buy bullshit artists. You could sell them a bill of goods. Los Angeles, phoniest place on the planet. They love phonies. They embrace phonies. Okay? You know, I watched Hard Knocks last night. I don't know. Why am I feeling like I feel like a talent agent or what do you call them? Like a casting director. Got a hold of Aaron Rodgers and said, let's redo your entire persona so that we can sell it better to people. I came away watching that from Hard Knocks going, I don't know, man. Why do I feel like I'm being sold a used car? It's just, maybe I'm wrong. There's just some people you go, so wait a minute, for 17 years, Aaron Rodgers was that guy in Green Bay. But all of a sudden now, he's a great teammate. He's helping people. He's funny in front of the cameras. He's not aloof. It just seems that to me, like this guy's like got a casting director and a public relations person, and they sat down and they said, how can we market this guy better where he'll be able to be sellable? Because the last couple of years, Aaron Rodgers was not sellable. He would, or how about this? Believable. Okay, it's just like believable. Am I wrong? I don't know who saw it. Maybe you saw a completely different Aaron Rodgers. But to me, it just, I went like this. Who is that guy? Is really that the same guy who for 17 years, and I'm supposed to believe because he's in New York and he's happier now? Okay. I don't know, man. Christopher goes, Philly's a shithole. That's how some people would look at Philadelphia. Of course you would. Because you're used to being lied to, Chris. I think that city's spectacular. Spectacular. I love the cops. Watch Army-Navy game with them cops. Had a great time. Admiral and myself and my cousin, I posted a picture on my Twitter with the Philadelphia police. All of them there. Those jackets are dope too, man. I love them. Sat in a booth, watched Army-Navy. Every time I go to Philadelphia, the Philadelphia police are always there for me. It's great. I have a great time when I go there. It's all good, man. As a matter of fact, anybody in here from Philadelphia and you see a guy like Chris say that shit, just go like this to Chris. Thank you. It's a merit badge. You hate me that much that you would disrespect my city? Thank you. I look at that shit as fuel. Love it. How do I feel about DeSantis? Politicians suck. All of them. They lie. They're thieves. They're dishonest. They're disingenuous. Anything with a dis, they're all of it. Politicians are worse than used car salesmen. Every one of them. Every party. All of them. Come to the conclusion, I hate them all. There, that's what you here. I don't look at one or the other and like this or that because then we get into problems. They all suck. You don't have our best interest. One thing before I move on here to Derek Barnett. How is it when you go to Washington, you don't have a lot of money, but when you leave Washington and you're a congressman or senator, you're a billionaire? How's that possible? I didn't realize if you joined a crime family that you could become billionaires. I thought you represented the people. I think now you take advantage of the people. That's how I see politicians. I've never seen more people become billionaires being a politician. People own 10 homes. How's that possible? Stocks out the ass. Hundreds of millions of dollars on a $130,000 paycheck. How are you worth all this? Just makes no, I don't get it. I see, to me, being a politician is legalized organized crime. It's legalized organized crime. When you go to D.C., you know, there used to be the Lucchese, the Gambino family, the Versace family, all that. Scarfo family in Philly. Shit, you go to the D.C. family, that's the best crime family in the country. All right. So I guess Derek Barnett and Landon Dickerson got into a little Donnybrook today. I guess there was some cheap shot that were thrown and these guys got into a tussle. Here's the problem. Okay? Here's the problem you have with Derek Barnett. Instead of standing up for them yourself, you don't have that latitude to get back into an argument with someone because the second guy always gets caught. And for you, that has been your biggest problem. There was a great moment where he could have shown the coaches restraint. Even if he was in the right. Coaches don't want to hear, I'm right, coach, when you've had more penalties than sacks in your career. No one wants to hear it. You don't have that equity. It was a perfect moment, and he missed it. But Sills, Landon hit him late. So? Everyone hits Barnett late. Who's the guy that gets caught? Barnett. He needs to show maturity so that they can trust him. That would have been a great moment. The coaching staff would have went, Dickerson hit him cheap. But you know what he did? This gives me hope that in a game, when something goes sideways, that he could show some poise out there. Derek Barnett doesn't have poise. It's been the number one problem in his career. He doesn't have poise. To know where he is, that was a learning moment. Hey, getting back in a fight with Landon Dickerson is not what the coaches wanted to see, whether or not you're tough. They wanted to see if you could show restraint. Well, not fighting back means no, it doesn't. Not fighting back means he knows that some of the issues he's had in his career have not been because of ability. They've been because of mentality. Missed it. Missed opportunity for Derek Barnett. Coaches go back to watch that on film and go like this. It's not the point. It's not the point who's right. That's right. Jay, it's discipline. What's the one thing he doesn't show is discipline. That was a moment that he could have shown everyone, including his own teammates. Tone goes, you're absolutely right. It was a teaching moment and he failed. Again, how about this? After something like that, are you now more convinced that he's going to have another brain fart on the field? I am. He's lip service. He'll have more penalties this year than he will tackles for losses and sacks. He has not changed who he is. You have to practice that. Lost opportunity, son. Lost opportunity. Joseph goes, just cut Derek Barnett already. I'll tell you what, Joseph. The Eagles must really see a lot of Brandon Graham in him. He must be a good kid in the locker room. People must really like him. He must show up to meetings on time. But again, his discipline on the field and his field presence and awareness is nowhere. Here's a prime example of ability not holding you back, but you holding yourself back. I know now who Derek Barnett is. It would be different if he didn't already have discipline issues. The fact is he does. And he clearly still hasn't matured. That's the point. Does Landon Dickerson go out there getting into fights every single practice and during football games? You're not going to say shit to Dickerson. But with a guy that's got a track record, and the number one thing you heard from a coach a year ago, a head coach, and Nick Sirianni doing, always something with that guy. You think that's changed? Always something with that guy? Holy shit, I wish I had a different, I wish my head coach was saying something different about me than it's always something with that guy. Look at Yale. Don't spend a ton of time on Barnett. Don't worry. His candle wick doesn't have that long to burn. Yale. Okay? This is not an ability thing. It's a character thing. Had a great moment there. Hey, real quick before I move on, I'm going to show you something around the league here, which is crazy, and why the Eagles and a lot of teams, or not a lot, but a handful of teams in the NFC are going to have good years. Barnett fought Andre Dillard last year in week 1 in 2021, and Sirianni said it's always effing him. Sirianni didn't even have his house yet, and he already knew about Barnett. I'm sure that's changed. Not. So the word is now Niners in here. There he is. It's official. Trey Lance is the number 3 guy in the depth chart. I'm going to say this to you, Niner, and every Niner fan. You better trade that guy before the start of the season. And you better eat it. Because if you play that guy at all, it'll be a colossal train wreck. You get nothing for you to return. How about this? I would have never seen a guy who was picked, had to surrender 3 first-rounders, and you got 0 in return for him. Okay, I've never seen that. Like, I wouldn't give you a 7th rounder for – no, right now I'd probably give you a 5th rounder for him. Because who knows? I might give you a 5th rounder for him. I would never give you a 3 or 4 for that guy. Not a chance. That's all I think his value is. I think this guy is Niner. You know what? You may be right. Okay? You may be right. Maybe you don't trade him and you just eat it and you just keep him and you just keep – and you can't cut him. Because that's even a bigger disgrace. If you cut a guy that you gave 3 years of your future up for. Wow. Man. Biggest colossal quarterback bust draft pick in the first round in NFL history is now in San Francisco, and it's Trey Lance. He's not even beating out Sam Darnold, who's on his 3rd team. Incredible. Wow. Man, bigger bust than Ryan Leaf. Bigger bust than Leaf. It's not on the player's fault. Overdrafted 3 times. So do you understand when you say that, and I say that to you, that means in the 49ers' eyes, for the next 3 years, you would have drafted him in the first round every year for the next 3 years, no matter what. Bigger bust than Jamarcus Russell? Yeah. Yeah. He got on the field and you didn't give up 3 ones for him. Shit, at least the Rams got draft picks. RG3 was rookie of the year. Absolutely. RG3, you gave up draft choices for a guy who got hurt. He was the rookie of the year his rookie season. Got the Skins to the playoffs. JM's right. Dude, even if Brock Purdy does pan out and is a functional quarterback, even if he pans out, you gave 3 years of your future ones up for the guy. You kind of cover the pain of losing a quarterback, and you get the financial reward of having him making less than $1 million. That's true. But what about the 3 years of your future? See, again, it's not the fact that they missed on a 1. Everyone misses on a 1. The Eagles missed on a 1. Kind of, not really. Even Wentz is a 10 times more successful thing than Trey Lance. 10 times. Wow. It could have been worse, Sills. We could have paid a running back $50 million a year. Dude, I'll tell you what, though, Niner, you better hope McCaffrey don't get hurt. Because the amount of resources you gave up to Carolina to get Christian McCaffrey, if McCaffrey goes down and can't play, you would have lost 3 ones, all those 2s, and all those third-round draft choices. If that guy gets hurt, you got a lot of your future riding on McCaffrey's health, too. And if that guy doesn't stay healthy, I mean, it'll look like that movie Draft Day, but the guy not getting his draft picks back. He better play all 17 ball games. Hey, I'm just saying to you. Hey, one last thing, again, before I get around the NFL, I want to ask you this about Landon Dickerson. Here it is. $2025. End of the season this year. Landon Dickerson's base salary is $2.1 million. Highest paid player in the game at left guard is Quentin Nelson. I think that dude's in Indianapolis. Does that sound right? He makes $20 million. He makes $20 million. Okay? So he makes 10 times the money that Landon Dickerson does. 10 times the money. Landon Dickerson is by far one of the most underpaid guys, if not the most underpaid player on the team. He's the most underpaid player on the team. No one is treated poor. Hey, Hassan Reddick can bitch about $5 million. This guy's making 10 times less, and he's been quiet about it. Okay? And in my opinion, according to Pro Football Focus, I agree with them. He's one of the top 7 guards in the game. And he makes $2.1 million. Top guy makes 20. What do you do? What do you do at the end of the year? Rookie deal does help out. When do you start at least? Next March. Do you pay Dickerson 20 or do you pay Devontae 20? How do you do it? I think he's a free agent in 25. Who are you going to pay $20 million? So you guys want to pay Hassan Reddick 20, right? You want to pay Malata 15. That's what he's making. Lane's going to make 30 and 25. AJ's making 25. AJ Dickerson is ranked 55th among guards in average annual salary. And he's a top 7. Quarterback makes 55. Reddick makes 15. Some big money coming around the table here. Slay, Fletcher, and Kelsey will be off the books. 15, 30, 45. And so you're saying those salaries, so you're going to be looking, you're going to go corner in the draft. Where did Yale have that? Off the books. So that means you have to go back into the draft or free agency again, right? Dickerson will get a minimum of $17 million. Watch. Oh, absolutely. Minimum? If Dickerson continues his growth and his continued play, he's a $20 million a year guy. Personally, I think he's better than the guy in Indianapolis. I think he's better than him. I think he's one of the top 3 guards, left guards too, in the league. I do. I think he's a fabulous football player. So you need a new corner after next year. The center moves over. You got that covered already, which is great. Okay. So you really believe, well, because of the cap hits on Jalen. Yeah. The cap hits on Jalen save you, don't they? They save you to be able to have maybe 2 $20 million guys, where the Cowboys can't. Seals, if you were Howie, what move are you making today? Personally, I'd make a call to Tampa and I hire Devin White as a rental. I give the Bucks a 2nd-round pick for him. And if I sign him or not, I don't care. If it wins me the Super Bowl, who cares? And the Bucks pay half his salary and I pay half his salary. If you tell me that I can rent an airplane to get me around the world on 1 tank of gas, but I'm not going to own it, but I get around the world and I complete my mission, what the hell do I care if I lost a 2nd-round draft choice? If one guy could help me win a Super Bowl. You're in a position where the Eagles are 2-3 players away from having a complete team like they did a year ago. You're so close to having a complete team. And if you had a Mike linebacker, if you had a Mike linebacker, okay? If you had a Mike linebacker, I'm giving up a 2nd-round draft choice for that. You know, some teams like the Rams and Bucks are giving up 3 years of shitty football for a Super Bowl. You're telling me you wouldn't give up a second rounder? Hey, by the way, you just cut a third rounder. Don't make it sound like you guys covet these linebacker picks. You cut these guys like they're on conveyor belts in Philly. I mean, constantly cutting these guys. You never get the linebacker position right. So renting for a linebacker that's a captain on a Super Bowl team who's 25, work a deal out with him. You could have him for 10 years. 10 years. Could you imagine Devin White playing behind Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter for the next decade? You might have the best interior defense in the National Football League. When you want to go there, instead of piecemealing, here, there's no difference. Here, I think this is a fair comparison. Tell me if I'm wrong, you guys. I think your linebacker core is symbolic of your running back room. Jacoby Dean is DeAndre Swift, and it's the rest of them. Guys you've piecemealed, found. Same with the backs. The linebacker position, it's almost a mirror of the running back room. You got one guy in the room you're high on, Jacoby Dean, DeAndre Swift. The rest of them are dudes. Guys off the street, later round guys. It's the same thing. There's no difference. Look at how they see both. They see both rooms the same. It's like Jacoby Dean is DeAndre Swift. Okay? And the rest of the guys. Like one guy in the building that they're high on. Priorities are the lines. And that's why they win too. I absolutely. But again, if you don't have the quarterback that can throw you into a Super Bowl and win it, and you got deficiencies in your second, here, two things that let the Eagles down when it mattered the most. You're limited at special teams and you're limited on defense, even when you had the second-ranked defense in the league last year. Because once you couldn't get home, Mahomes and Reed exposed you. Good quarterbacks expose the Eagles. That's your major problem last 2 years. Good quarterbacks expose you. I mean, I don't have to show you and tell you again about all these quarterbacks that put up high percentage numbers. See, again, when it comes time to beat those guys, you can't. Hey, you're going to beat the Daniel Joneses and the shitbox Kirk Cousins of the world and a young Trevor Lawrence. You're going to beat those guys. You're not beating the elite quarterbacks with that defense. Not piecemealed like that. Not in critical positions. Tone said something a couple months ago. If you don't have four linebackers on the field, you can't play defense in today's NFL. Well, don't contradict yourselves. He's right. You don't have four linebackers to play against Josh Allen. And that's funny. I hear people go like this all the time. Dude, Josh Allen had a sensational year in the AFC. It's tougher to win that conference than the Super Bowl. For all the shit you guys say, turns this over, he's not good. He won one less game, and the only reason he won one less game than you, because they didn't play it. It sounded like this guy completely sucked. He won one less game. He only played 16 games last year. They're 13-3. JM goes, Josh Allen threw 107 more passes. Of course he did. That's why there's a higher turnover rate, because there's more chances of turnover with the pass than there is with the run. Common sense. That's right. Today's NFL, what did Mahomes have in turnovers? How many picks did he have this year? Did he have double-digit picks? Did Mahomes have double-digit picks? I know he threw 44 touchdowns. Did he have double-digit? But did he have 9? 44 TDs and 9 picks is exceptional, if that's what it was. Saying Allen sucks is just a lie. I don't know why people jump on the window and say that. I don't have shit on Allen. Do prop up hurts. I don't have to shit on Allen to prop up. No, you don't. Jalen's his own dude. Okay? You know, this is always a good one too, Tone, right here. When people say this, that, you know, well, he doesn't get to Super Bowls. So do you think it'd be tougher in the AFC for the Eagles to get to the AFC championship game every year if you had to play those teams on a weekly basis? Do you really believe that you think it'd be easier for you? What do you think the Chiefs would do in the NFC? Mahomes had 12 picks. Double Jalen's picks. Threw the ball more. Duh. Duh. The Eagles in the AFC would struggle like everyone else, every other good team. I know that struggle, but you're going to lose a game that you shouldn't have because there's so good at teams over there. You could lose a game 38-37. It could be the NFC title game or the AFC title game, and you go, damn, we're just as good. And you are. Okay? Mahomes had double the picks. Double the picks. Double the touchdown throws, too. Double the TDs. He doubled him up on TDs and picks. More attempts. Of course. He throws a higher percentage turnover play every play. Jalen doesn't play turnover ball, which in end is the best football. Mahomes has to do that. He has to throw the ball 700 times to win. Jalen doesn't. He could throw the ball 450 and get away with it. It's not because he's not talented. It's because he doesn't have to do it. What would you rather do to win a game? Would you rather run the ball 38 times or throw the ball 38 times? I think this is it in a nutshell. If you could win a football game, would you rather throw the ball 38 or run the ball 38? Now, it's not sexy and cool running the ball 38 times. It's not really good television. Okay? I'd rather run it too. Seals, Jalen Hurts only threw the ball 32 times in that game. Well, I think that's kind of high. I'd like to see him around 28. And I'd like to see the team 38 carries. If I could win every game running the ball 38 times, I'm all in on that. Here, this is the difference between – but here, this is why Mahomes and the Chiefs lose to the Colts a year ago. It's just because of what I said. Do you know how impossible – how many times have you watched a football team where a guy throws the ball for 500 yards and they lose? You run the ball for 250 times against someone, you ain't losing that game. It's a no-moss game. Dude, there is nothing you can do when you got 5 human beings beating the shit out of your 4 guys and they're just running you into the dirt. It's like playing with your arm tied behind your back. But when a guy get this, when a guy throws the ball 60 times, what does that do to you? All you need is 3 incompletes. Because why? 3 incompletes, stop the clock, I get the ball back, I get a chance to get back in the game. When you're running the ball, 14-play drives, that's what made the Eagles so unbeatable last year. Those opening 10-play plus drives, 11 plays, 13 plays. How many times they jump up on people? 7-0. And again, those teams suck last year. But you know what they did? They made them look like they sucked. And they ran them into the ground. When you have an identity like that and you're killing teams like that, you're undefensible. So let me get this right. Here's the key to the Eagles' offense. They pound you, and then they make you submit with those wideouts and tight end. Hard to defend a team like that. Hard to defend a team. It's also why we lost the bowl game. We couldn't run in the second half, and it killed our form. That's exactly correct. When Shane Steichen and Nick Sirianni completely got out coached in the second half by going away from the run game, I don't give a shit how many times Miles Sanders puts the ball on the carpet. That's your formula. When you take one of the components of your formula away, you have no chance to win. Because your quarterback's not going to throw you out of a loss. Now, look, he played great, but he needed a run game. Dude, you're up 10. Run the ball. Run the clock off. Make Mahomes have to beat you with 1 minute left in the game. If it gets down to that, they couldn't stop him. And get this. Well, Sills, we didn't have that many 3-and-outs. They only needed 2. Get this. Yale goes, they lost faith in Sanders after the fumble. Guy with 1,300 yards and 11 touchdowns. You put on the shelf is bad coaching. He was part of the formula that got you there. If I'm going to win a game or lose a game, I'm going to go and lose and win a game with the guys that got me there. And then at the end of the day, we'll all look at each other in the locker room, but we're in this together. I'm not going to start effing pulling guys because of this or that. We're all in this together. That's poor coaching. Hey, let it live and die with the men that got you there. Andy Reid coached his ass off, too. That was the best I've ever seen him, and I've said that. Okay? Run that thing. He's got 2 fumbles. So what you did was, guess what they did? By not using Sanders, you let the Chiefs crawl back in the game. Is that right? What was more important? Him having that ball on the ground, or you allowing the Chiefs to come back on you because you took part of your formula away? Poor coaching. That's decision making. How about this? I'd have had Jalen run more. But then again, he was hurt. He was hurt. See, those were the 2 secret components that cost them that game. Hurts was hurt and couldn't take over for the running because they got away from Sanders. Hurts couldn't do it because of the shoulder. And once that was taken away, half the attack was taken away, and it allowed Kansas City to get back in on you. That's what's going to happen this year against shittier teams if you can't run with that formula. And if your defense is a sieve this year, you better hope that offense has the formula where you go on those 11-play drives like a year ago. If you have 3-and-outs early in the year, your defense is going to be putting that offense in great field position every game because they're not going to be able to stop people. They're just not. Ronald goes, I have to give Chris Jones a lot of credit because I did not think he could do what he did against our old line. I thought he had a great game against Sayamalo. He did. And I think that's one of the reasons why he's going to be a $30 million guy. Okay? Dude, Dak loves watching Super Bowls. That guy better straighten that shit out real quick. I'll tell you that. Jalen was running and throwing it and lost. Remember something, Turner. You've played 2 games against Mahomes, and he's beaten you twice. I don't care what Jalen looks like. So telling me he's Kirk Cousins when he plays. So Jalen Hurts is Kirk Cousins when he plays the Chiefs, right? Has better numbers but loses. Ask Tone how that feels. Nobody gets credit for the silver medal. Only bleeding hearts like it. I'm on the podium. Okay. There's podium people, and then there's champions. Who are you? Do you want to be a champion, or do you want to be a podium guy? I'm on the top 3. Yeah, what the hell? Podium guys suck. I mean it. Have to have that. Have to have that formula. 5-5-7-3, 3 points. Mine's been 33 points. 33 points or 3 points. So you're quantifying losses now? Well, we only lost by 3. Okay. I never looked at a loss like that. As far as I'm concerned, I might as well have lost by 50 if I lost. 50 or 5 or 1. A loss is a loss, dude. I don't quantify losses. Well, it was only a 3-point loss. Okay. You must be a podium guy. All right. Hey. Please move on. We're dealing with participation trophy babies. I can't take it. That's a good point now for me to do this here. Don't forget, man, with the preseason football games, and you podium lovers, you get a chance to go over to my friends over at Hooters, King of Prussia. You bet, man, all your fantasy football leagues and everything for you to have your drafts, watch your favorite football team for exhibition football. The official home of Philadelphia Eagle fans is the Hooters in King of Prussia. It's a 2023, National Football Show's official home, and we're so looking forward to it too, man. World famous Hooter girls are going to be there. Tuesday specials, buy 10 wings, get 10 boneless wings. 1983, one of the traditions that we have had at Hooters forever, over 40 years. That is all you can eat Wednesdays, kids eat free on Saturdays, much more. The big screens they have, places have been packed. It was packed for like the Hall of Fame game. Wait till this week, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at Hooters King of Prussia, man. It's going to be off the charts there. 6 items, $6, 240 North Gulf Road in King of Prussia. And when you go to Hooters, do me a favor. Tell them Big Sil sent you.